Welcome and thank you for joining this journey. You are listening to How to Control Your Thoughts and Transform Your Life, audiobook, written and published by ReadFlow Audiobooks. This audiobook is designed to help you take charge of your inner world. Every thought you allow to take root influences your emotions, shapes your habits, and ultimately determines your reality. When you learn to control your thoughts, you gain the power to transform not only how you feel each day, but the direction of your entire life. Here you will discover practical strategies, mental disciplines, and empowering principles to build clarity, resilience, and focus. You will learn how to break free from negative cycles, reframe self-limiting beliefs, and replace them with thoughts that move you forward with confidence and purpose. This is your moment to step into mastery of your mind. Take a deep breath, open your heart, and prepare to unlock the power within. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Thought Awareness. Every great transformation begins in the mind. Yet most people live their entire lives without ever truly examining their thoughts. They repeat patterns unconsciously, carry beliefs handed down from others, and allow mental chatter to dictate their emotions. To control your thoughts, you must first learn to see them clearly. This is the starting point, the foundation of thought awareness. Why awareness matters. Imagine driving a car with the windshield fogged up. You may still move forward, but every mile is stressful, uncertain, and filled with risk. This is how most people live with their minds, navigating life without clarity. Thought awareness clears the fog. It allows you to recognize what is really happening inside your head and understand how it affects your choices. Without awareness, you become reactive. You think whatever comes to mind, feel whatever follows, and act based on impulse. With awareness, you step into choice. You begin to notice, I am thinking this thought, and in that moment, you are no longer controlled by it. You are in control of it. The observer mindset. The first shift is moving from being lost in your thoughts to becoming the observer of your thoughts. Picture yourself sitting beside a flowing river. The water carries leaves, twigs, and branches downstream. These are your thoughts, constantly moving, changing, appearing and disappearing. Most people get swept away in the current, pulled along by every thought without question. But when you step onto the riverbank, you become the observer. You watch the thoughts flow by. You recognize them without needing to chase them. This observer mindset is powerful. It creates distance between you and your mental chatter. You begin to realize, I am not my thought. I am the thinker of my thoughts. I am the one who chooses which to follow and which to let go. Practical exercise. The pause of awareness. Here's a simple practice you can begin today. Set a reminder. Choose 3 times in your day, morning, afternoon, and evening. Pause for 60 seconds. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath and notice what you are thinking about. Label the thought. Say to yourself, this is a worry, or this is a memory, or this is a plan. Step back. Rather than judging, simply acknowledge it and let it pass, as if watching a cloud drift across the sky. This exercise builds the habit of catching your thoughts in real time. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to notice when your mind starts to wander into fear, anger, or distraction. Uncovering hidden patterns. Once you start observing, you'll notice that certain thoughts repeat often. These are your mental loops. For some it may be self-doubt. I'm not good enough. For others it's fear. What if I fail? For many, it's comparison. They're further ahead than me. Recognizing these loops is the first step to breaking them. You cannot change what you are unaware of, but once you shine the light of awareness on them, their power begins to fade. Try this. At the end of the day, write down the 3 most common thoughts you noticed. Don't try to fix them yet. Just capture them. Over time, you will begin to see the hidden script you've been living by. And once you see the script, you can rewrite it. Detaching from negative thoughts. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing every thought they have. But thoughts are not facts. They are possibilities, mental events that pass through your mind. Some are useful, some are neutral, and some are destructive. When a negative thought appears, instead of wrestling with it, try this phrase. This is just a thought. not the truth. This simple statement creates distance. It reminds you that you have the power to choose whether to engage or release it. Over time, you'll notice that the negative loops lose their intensity when you stop feeding them with belief. Training your mental muscles. Thought awareness is like training a muscle. At first it feels difficult. Your mind will resist. You'll forget to notice, or you'll get swept up in the stream of thoughts before you realize it. That's normal. Progress comes from repetition, not perfection. Think of it this way. Every time you bring your attention back to the present, you're lifting a weight for your mind. Every time you observe a thought without being carried away, you're building strength. With practice, awareness becomes second nature, and clarity becomes your default state. Practical exercise. The thought journal. Another powerful tool is the thought journal. Here's how to use it. Each morning, write down the first 5 thoughts that cross your mind when you wake up. At night, write down 5 thoughts that occupied you most during the day. At the end of the week, look back at what you recorded. You'll notice patterns, recurring fears, repeated doubts, or common distractions. But you'll also notice empowering thoughts, moments of gratitude, and ideas that inspired you. The journal makes the invisible visible, and that visibility gives you the power to decide what stays and what goes. Awareness and emotional freedom. By becoming aware of your thoughts, you also gain power over your emotions. Most emotions are born from repeated thinking. Fear comes from imagining negative futures. Regret comes from replaying the past. Anger comes from focusing on perceived injustice. By catching the thought at its root, you prevent the emotion from spiraling out of control. For example, instead of saying, "I'm anxious," you can say, "I'm having anxious thoughts." This subtle shift breaks identification. You are not anxiety. You are a person experiencing anxious thoughts, which means you can choose a different focus. Long-term perspective. Thought awareness is not something you practice once and master forever. It is a lifelong discipline, but like any discipline, the rewards multiply over time. With awareness, you'll notice that you no longer react as quickly, you no longer spiral as deeply, and you no longer carry as much mental clutter. Your mind becomes clearer, calmer, and more directed. The more you practice, the more you realize that awareness is freedom from old patterns, freedom from unnecessary suffering, freedom from being a prisoner of your own mind. Closing thought for Chapter 1. Awareness is the doorway. It is the quiet skill of noticing, observing, and stepping back. It is simple, but it is not easy. And yet the moment you begin to practice it, you shift the entire trajectory of your life. You are no longer lost in thought. You are awake, and from that awakened state, everything becomes possible. Chapter 2. Directing and reframing your thoughts. Awareness, as we explored in Chapter 1, is the foundation. Once you can observe your thoughts without being controlled by them, you gain clarity. But awareness alone is not enough. The next step is learning how to direct and reframe your thoughts, so they align with the life you want to create. Imagine your mind as a powerful spotlight in a dark room. Whatever you shine it on becomes vivid, alive, and influential. If you shine it on fear, fear grows. If you shine it on opportunity, opportunity expands. Thought direction is about choosing deliberately where to point that mental spotlight, rather than letting it wander aimlessly. The power of focus. Your focus is your mental currency. Wherever you invest it, something grows. Unfortunately, most people spend their focus on worry, comparison, and distraction. They rehearse worst-case scenarios. They measure themselves against others, and they scatter their energy across dozens of trivial concerns. The result? A fragmented mind that feels powerless. To control your thoughts, you must learn to take back your focus. Ask yourself often, where is my mind right now, and is this where I want it to be? This simple question interrupts autopilot and reminds you that focus is a choice, not an accident. Practical exercise. The focus redirect. Here's a practice you can use immediately. Cast. Notice the drift. Catch yourself when your thoughts spiral into negativity or distraction. Pause and breathe. Take a deep breath to break the cycle. Redirect consciously. Ask, what thought would serve me better right now? Then choose one. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never succeed," Pause and redirect. Every step I take moves me closer to success. At first, this may feel forced, but over time, your brain learns to associate new patterns with calm, clarity, and progress. Reframing negative thinking. Reframing is the art of looking at the same situation from a different, more empowering angle. Life will always present challenges. You cannot control every event, but you can control how you interpret it. The event didn't change, the perspective did. And perspective is everything. The 3-step reframe process. Whenever you encounter a negative thought, use this process. Challenge it. Ask, is this absolutely true? What evidence do I have against it? Change it. Replace it with an empowering alternative. I've handled difficult things before and I can handle this too. With practice, this becomes automatic. Instead of spiraling downward, your mind learns to spiral upward. Feeding the positive mindset. Your brain is like soil. Whatever seeds you plant and water will grow. Negative thoughts are weeds. They spread quickly if left unchecked. Positive, empowering thoughts are like carefully planted flowers. They need consistent nurturing. Start by planting intentional thoughts each morning. Before checking your phone or diving into tasks, take 1 minute to repeat a thought you want to grow. It could be, I am capable of handling today with clarity and focus. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. I choose thoughts that strengthen me, not weaken me. This practice may feel small, but it conditions your mind. Just as exercise shapes your body, repetition shapes your thoughts. Practical exercise. The Reframe Journal. In addition to your thought journal from Chapter 1, start a Reframe Journal. Each day, write down one negative thought you experienced and reframe it in writing. For example, take Cass. Original, I'll never finish this project. Reframe, I am making steady progress, and each step brings me closer to completion. Over time, this creates a written library of empowering perspectives you can revisit whenever old doubts resurface. The role of language. Pay attention to the words you use, both out loud and in your mind. Language shapes perception. Saying, "This is too hard," makes your brain search for reasons to quit. Saying, "This is a challenge, and I'm learning to master it," primes your brain for solutions. Shift from words of limitation to words of possibility. Instead of "I can't," say "I'm learning." Instead of "This always happens to me," say "I'm noticing a pattern I can change." Instead of "I'm stuck," say "I'm preparing for my next move." Language is not just communication. It is programming. Every phrase you repeat is a command to your subconscious mind. Choose your commands wisely, guarding the gate of your mind. Directing your thoughts also means protecting your mental environment. What you consume daily influences what you think. Negative media, toxic conversations, and endless scrolling flood your mind with seeds of fear, anger, and doubt. Ask yourself, what am I feeding my mind today? If the answer is junk, replace it. Read uplifting books, listen to inspiring messages, surround yourself with people who challenge and encourage you. Guarding your mind is not about isolation, it is about curation. You become what you consistently expose yourself to. Thought direction in daily life. Here are some practical ways to apply thought direction in everyday situation. At work, instead of thinking, "I hate this task," reframe it. "This task builds discipline and teaches me focus." In conflict, instead of thinking, "They don't respect me," reframe it. "This is a chance to practice clear communication and self-control." When you practice reframing consistently, life no longer feels like something happening to you. It becomes something you actively shape. Training mental flexibility. Rigid thinking creates suffering. Flexible thinking creates resilience. By directing and reframing thoughts, you build flexibility. Instead of being stuck in one narrow interpretation, you open yourself to multiple perspectives. This flexibility doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means expanding it. It allows you to respond with creativity rather than react with frustration. In this way, thought control becomes not a restriction, but a liberation. The long-term shift. At first, reframing feels like effort. It requires catching, challenging, and replacing thoughts intentionally. But over time, it becomes your default mode. Your brain rewires itself through repetition. What once required conscious effort becomes automatic. This is how transformation happens, not in sudden breakthroughs, but in consistent practice. By directing your focus and reframing your thoughts day after day, you gradually create a mind that serves you, not sabotages you. By choosing what to focus on and reframing what disempowers you, you take control of your mental spotlight, and when you control the spotlight, you control the stage of your life. Chapter 3: Building Empowering Beliefs and Identity Through Thought Control. Awareness is the beginning. Direction is the next step. But true transformation requires more than noticing and redirecting thoughts. It requires building a new system of beliefs and reshaping the very identity you live from. Every action you take and every decision you make is ultimately filtered through your beliefs about yourself and the world. If you believe you are not capable, your actions will reflect that. If you believe the world is against you, your choices will be cautious, fearful, and defensive. But when you build empowering beliefs, you shift the foundation of your identity, and your entire life begins to align with that new mental framework. The role of beliefs in shaping life. Beliefs are simply thoughts you've repeated enough times that they became accepted as truth. Some are conscious. I'm good at solving problems. Others are unconscious. I don't deserve success. Together, these beliefs form the blueprint of your life. Your identity, the way you see yourself, is built on this blueprint. If the foundation is weak, your sense of self will always feel unstable. But if the foundation is strong, you can withstand challenges without crumbling. Thought control allows you to rebuild this foundation intentionally, brick by brick. The power of I am. Two of the most powerful words in existence are I am. Whatever follows them becomes a declaration of identity. When you repeatedly think or say, I am lazy or I am unlucky, your brain accepts that as reality and shapes your behavior to match it. On the other hand, saying I am disciplined or I am capable programs your mind toward growth and strength. Begin paying attention to your I am statement. Every time you notice a limiting one, pause and replace it with an empowering version, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Over time, repetition turns these affirmations into beliefs, and beliefs into identity. Practical exercise. Rewriting identity statements. Write down 3 common negative I am statements you catch yourself thinking. For example, rewrite each one into an empowering version. Repetition will gradually shift how you perceive yourself. Beliefs create evidence. One reason beliefs are so powerful is that they filter what you notice. If you believe people cannot be trusted, you'll pay attention only to situations that confirm that. If you believe opportunities are everywhere, you'll notice them daily. Your brain seeks evidence to support what it already believes. This is why changing beliefs is not about ignoring reality, but about creating new evidence. For example, if you want to believe I am disciplined, start by practicing one small discipline, like waking up on time or drinking water first thing in the morning. Each time you succeed, you gather proof. The more proof you collect, the stronger the belief becomes. Practical exercise. Evidence gathering. Choose one empowering belief you want to build. Each evening, write down 3 small pieces of evidence that support it. For example, belief I am capable of learning new things. Evidence: today I learned a new shortcut at work. I figured out how to solve a problem on my own. I understood a new concept from the book I'm reading. This practice teaches your brain to reinforce positive beliefs with tangible proof, making them harder to dismiss. Breaking limiting beliefs. To build empowering beliefs, you must also challenge the ones holding you back. Limiting beliefs often come from childhood, culture, or past failures. They sound like, I'll never be successful. People like me don't get opportunity. It's too late for me to change. The key is to confront these directly. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Is it universally true or just my perspective? What evidence exists that proves the opposite? Often you'll find the belief crumbles under questioning. Once exposed, you can replace it with one that empowers rather than restricts. The identity shift. Beliefs are powerful, but identity is the deepest layer of thought control. Identity is who you believe you are. It dictates your habits, your standards, and your resilience. If your identity is aligned with weakness, your actions will mirror weakness. If your identity is aligned with strength, your actions will reflect strength. For example, if someone says, "I'm trying to quit smoking," their identity is still tied to being a smoker. But if they say, "I'm not a smoker anymore," their identity has shifted. The thought is no longer about behavior, it's about identity. To transform your life, don't just think about what you want to do, think about who you want to be. Practical exercise, the identity blueprint. List 3 daily actions that align with that identity. Example, meditate for 5 minutes to build focus. Stick to a simple workout routine. Complete one task before moving to the next. At the end of each day, review, did my actions today reflect my chosen identity? This exercise ensures that your thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors align with the identity you want to embody. Self-talk and internal narratives. Your internal dialogue, the way you talk to yourself, is the voice of your identity. If that voice is constantly critical, your identity weakens. If that voice is encouraging and empowering, your identity strengthens. Begin to notice the tone of your self-talk. Is it supportive or sabotaging? Is it harsh or patient? Every time you catch negative self-talk, pause and reframe it into encouragement. For example, instead of "I'll never get this right," say, "I'm learning and improving with every attempt." Instead of "I always mess up," say, "I make mistakes, but I recover and grow strong." With time, your self-talk becomes the supportive voice of the empowering identity you're building. Long-term transformation, building empowering beliefs, and reshaping identity takes time. Just as it took years for old beliefs to form, it will take consistent practice to replace them, but the results are worth it. With each new belief, you gain strength. With each new identity shift, you gain freedom. Ultimately, the goal is not just to think positively, but to become the kind of person who naturally thinks in empowering ways. When your thoughts and identity align, transformation is not forced. It is inevitable. Closing thought for Chapter 3. Your beliefs are the lens through which you see the world, and your identity is the foundation on which you build your life. By controlling your thoughts, you are not only reshaping individual moments, you are rewriting the very story of who you are. And when you change that story, you change everything. Chapter 4. Mental discipline and strengthening focus. Clarity begins with awareness. Transformation deepens with belief. But to sustain both, you need discipline, the ability to hold your attention where it matters, no matter how noisy the world becomes. Mental discipline is the bridge between intention and results. It is what takes your empowering beliefs and transforms them into consistent action. Without discipline, even the most inspiring thoughts remain daydreams. With discipline, those same thoughts become achievements. In today's world, distractions are endless. Notifications, emails, endless scrolling, constant noise, it all pulls at your attention. Focus has become one of the most valuable skills you can develop. The good news is that mental discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you train, like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. What mental discipline really means. Mental discipline is not about forcing yourself through willpower alone. It is about training your mind to obey your direction rather than wander without purpose. It means creating order in your inner world so that your thoughts align with your goals instead of scattering your energy. Think of your attention as currency. Every day you spend it on worries, on work, on conversations, on habits. Mental discipline ensures you spend it wisely, investing in what moves you forward rather than wasting it on distractions. The foundation of focus, attention control. Your focus determines your experience of life. What you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, they multiply. If you focus on opportunities, they grow. The first step in strengthening focus is realizing you always have a choice about where to direct your attention. Attention control is like steering a car. Without it, you drift aimlessly, pulled by every bump in the road. With it, you decide the direction and stay on course. Strengthening focus begins with noticing when your mind wanders and gently bringing it back again and again until focus becomes natural. Practical exercise, the 5-minute attention anchor. When your mind wanders, and it will gently bring it back without frustration. This simple exercise, practiced daily, strengthens your focus muscle, just as lifting weights builds physical strength. Anchoring attention builds mental strength. The role of environment in discipline. Focus does not happen by accident. Your environment either supports it or sabotages it. If your phone constantly buzzes beside you, your focus will weaken. If your workspace is cluttered, your mind will mirror the chaos. To build discipline, design your environment to remove friction. Silence notifications during focus hours. Keep your workspace clear and organized. Use apps or tools that block distractions. Set physical cues like a specific chair or desk that signal focus mode. Discipline becomes much easier when the environment supports your intention. Practical exercise. The focus ritual. Choose a consistent time each day for deep work. Before starting, clear your desk, silence distractions, and prepare everything you need. Begin with a small ritual like lighting a candle, taking 3 deep breaths, or playing calm background music. Commit to 25-50 minutes of focused work, followed by a short break. By repeating this ritual, you condition your mind to enter focus mode on command. The myth of multitasking. Many people believe they're effective multitaskers, but the truth is, multitasking divides attention, weakens focus, and reduces quality. Each time you switch tasks, your brain needs time to refocus, costing mental energy. Discipline means committing fully to one task at a time. Ask yourself, what is the single most important thing right now? Then give it your full attention. This simple question cuts through distraction and strengthens discipline with practice. Building mental stamina. Focus is not just about short bursts. It's also about stamina. Just as physical athletes build endurance, you can build mental endurance. Start small, then increase gradually. Begin with 20 minutes of focused work. Increase to 40 minutes, then an hour. Train your mind to hold attention for longer stretches without fatigue. Over time, you'll notice your capacity for deep concentration grows, making tasks that once felt overwhelming much easier. Discipline in thought patterns. Mental discipline is not only about external tasks, it's about internal thought patterns. Without discipline, your mind runs unchecked, jumping from worry to memory to distraction. With discipline, you choose which thoughts deserve your energy. For example, if a negative thought arises, "I'll probably fail," discipline allows you to notice it, pause and redirect. I choose to focus on preparation instead. Each time you redirect, you reinforce control over your mind. Practical exercise. The thought journal. Throughout the day, write down recurring, distracting or negative thoughts. Next to each, write a disciplined response, what you choose to think instead. Review daily, training your brain to replace unhelpful thoughts with focused ones. This practice sharpens awareness and strengthens your ability to control mental direction. The power of micro-commitments. Discipline grows through small victories. If you can control your attention for 5 minutes, you can extend it to 10. If you can stay focused on one task today, you can build to 3 tomorrow. Micro-commitments, tiny, deliberate acts of discipline, are the building blocks of mental mastery. Whether it's resisting the urge to check your phone, finishing one task before starting another, or sitting quietly in thought, each act builds strength. Identity and discipline. Ultimately, discipline ties back to identity. When you see yourself as a disciplined person, your actions follow. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined," say, "I am disciplined. I honor my focus." This identity shift transforms discipline from something you force into something you live. Every time you follow through on your commitments, you cast a vote for that identity. Over time, those votes add up, and discipline becomes who you are, not just something you do. You will slip, you will get distracted, but each time you return to focus, you strengthen the muscle. Over weeks, months, and years, the compound effect of discipline is extraordinary. Think of where you'll be a year from now if you strengthen your focus daily. Imagine the projects completed, the habits mastered, the clarity gained. That is the power of mental discipline. It creates momentum that transforms your entire life. Closing thought for Chapter 4. Focus is freedom. Mental discipline is power. When you train your attention, you take control of your life's direction. Distraction no longer controls you. You control it. And as your discipline grows, so does your ability to shape your future with intention and clarity. Chapter 5: Emotional Resilience and Mastering Calm Under Pressure. Life is not lived in perfect conditions. Challenges arise, uncertainty appears, and stress often comes when you least expect it. In those moments, the strength of your mindset determines not just how you respond, but how you move forward. Emotional resilience is the art of staying centered in the storm, and calm under pressure is the discipline of meeting difficulty without losing control. When you master emotional resilience, you don't eliminate pressure. You learn to carry it with balance. You don't deny emotions, you direct them. And you don't fear setbacks, you rise stronger from them. Emotional resilience is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties without being consumed by them. It's not about avoiding pain or pretending challenges don't exist. Instead, it's about having the mental flexibility to bend without breaking, to feel emotions without being controlled by them. Resilient people experience stress like everyone else, but they process it differently. Where others panic, they pause. Where others react, they respond. Where others break down, they find inner strength. The calm center within you. Picture a storm. Winds howl, rain pours, trees bend. Yet at the eye of the storm, there is stillness. Emotional resilience is about finding that calm center within yourself no matter what swirls around you. This center is built through daily practice of thought control. Each time you choose a calm response instead of reacting impulsively, you reinforce resilience. Each time you shift your focus from panic to problem solving, you strengthen calm under pressure. The science of stress and response. When under stress, the brain activates its survival system, what we often call fight, flight, or freeze. This response is helpful in true danger but destructive in everyday challenges. If every work deadline or disagreement triggers fight or flight, you burn out quickly. Resilience comes from training the brain to shift from survival mode into growth mode, where logic, creativity, and problem-solving thrive. This shift happens when you take control of your thoughts before stress spirals out of control. Practical exercise. The power pause. Notice what you are feeling without judgment. Name the emotions: stress, anger, fear. Ask, what is within my control right now? Redirect your attention to that single controllable action. This pause interrupts the automatic reaction and gives you space to respond with clarity. With repetition, the power pause becomes your natural response under stress. Emotional resilience works the same way. You bend without breaking. Building flexibility means loosening your grip on needing things to always go your way. Life won't unfold perfectly, but your ability to adapt is what matters most. Each time you reframe a challenge as a chance to grow, you train your mind to stay resilient under pressure. Muscles grow under resistance. Character develops under challenge. When you see pressure as a test rather than a threat, your emotional state changes. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How is this happening for me?" This shift in language transforms struggle into opportunity. Practical exercise. Challenge, reframe, journal. Each time you face stress, write it down in a journal. Underneath, reframe the challenge as growth. What can I learn here? What skill does this situation strengthen? Commit to acting from that growth perspective. Over time, your mind automatically reframes challenges, building resilience as a habit. If anger arises, acknowledge it, then channel it into productive action. If fear shows up, recognize it, then turn it into preparation. Emotional mastery means you remain the driver, not the passenger. Your emotions inform you, but they don't control your direction. Strategies to strengthen calm under pressure. Breathing control. Slow breathing signals safety to the brain, reducing stress instantly. Mental visualization. Before a high-pressure moment, visualize yourself calm and in control. This conditions your brain for composure. Self-talk discipline. Replace thoughts like "I can't handle this" with "I am capable and prepared." Words shape emotional state. Physical anchors. Develop a calm ritual, like placing your hand on your chest or taking a grounding step to trigger calmness when needed. These strategies are small but powerful tools to create composure when it matters most. Resilience through habits. Daily habits build resilience long before challenges appear. Just as athletes train before the game, you build resilience through consistent practice. Morning reflection to set a calm tone. daily gratitude to anchor positivity, regular exercise to release stress and build energy, journaling to process emotions constructively. These habits create reserves of calm you can draw upon when pressure arrives. By zooming out, they see that pressure is just one moment in a much bigger story. The next time you feel overwhelmed, ask, will this matter 5 years from now? That single question often shrinks stress and restores balance. Identity of a resilient person. Just as with discipline, resilience becomes part of your identity. Instead of saying, I hope I stay calm, say, I am calm under pressure. I rise when tested. This self-definition trains your subconscious to seek resilience naturally. Each time you respond calmly, you confirm that identity. Over time, calmness under pressure becomes who you are, not just what you do. When you train your thoughts to stay steady in storms, you discover that no challenge can truly break you. Pressure may push, but it cannot control you. You hold the choice, the perspective, and the calm center within. Chapter 6. Mastering self-control and delayed gratification. Every great achievement rests on one timeless principle, the ability to choose long-term rewards over short-term impulses. This is the essence of self-control, and at the heart of self-control lies delayed gratification, the discipline of resisting immediate pleasure for greater lasting gain. While talent, intelligence, or even opportunity may give you an advantage, it is self-control that determines whether you sustain success. Without it, even the most promising potential collapses. With it, ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. It is not about denying yourself joy, it is about choosing the kind of joy that builds rather than destroys your future. Think of it this way. Short-term comfort often sacrifices long-term growth, but short-term discipline compounds into long-term freedom. The choice is always there, immediate satisfaction or lasting fulfillment. Years later, those who could wait, those with delayed gratification, were more successful in academics, health, and careers. This simple experiment reveals a profound truth. Your ability to delay gratification shapes your destiny. Every time you resist an impulse and choose discipline, you invest in a future far greater than the fleeting moment. Intention. Inside you are two forces constantly competing. Impulse seeks quick comfort, scrolling endlessly, skipping the workout, spending recklessly. Intention seeks growth, finishing the project, honoring the plan, investing in your future. The strength of your self-control determines which voice you listen to. Each small decision is a vote, either for impulse or for intention. The accumulation of those votes shapes your identity and your result. Practical exercise. The 10-second rule. The next time you feel an impulse, whether to react in anger, check your phone, or indulge in a habit, pause for 10 seconds. Breathe deeply. Ask yourself, does this choice serve my future self? Will this action move me closer or further from my goals? This brief pause creates a gap between stimulus and response, allowing you to act from intention rather than impulse. Training the muscle of self-control. Like focus, self-control is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it grows. Start small. Resist the urge to check your phone first thing in the morning. Choose water instead of soda. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. These small acts of discipline compound. Each victory, no matter how small, strengthens the identity of someone who is in control of themselves. Over time, this identity spills into larger, life-defining decisions. In truth, the opposite is true. Lack of self-control enslaves you to impulse, leaving you reactive and scattered. True freedom comes from mastering yourself. When you control your choices, you free yourself from regret, chaos, and wasted potential. You earn the freedom of health, wealth, stability, and peace, rewards far greater than the fleeting pleasure of indulgence. Imagine you have consistently practiced self-control and delayed gratification. What does your life look like? What habits define you? What achievements have you earned? Now imagine the opposite. 5 years with no self-control, giving in to every impulse. What does that life look like? How does it feel? Commit to living for the version of yourself that your future will thank you for. Visualization makes delayed gratification tangible. It connects present discipline to future reward, giving you motivation to stay the course. Mastering emotional urges. Self-control is not only about habits of action, It is about emotions, anger, jealousy, fear. All are impulses that, if left unchecked, can sabotage your progress. The disciplined mind acknowledges emotions but does not let them dictate behavior. For example, when anger arises, instead of lashing out, you breathe, pause, and respond calmly. When fear arises, instead of avoiding, you prepare and step forward. Emotional self-control is the mark of true inner mastery. Habits of delayed gratification. To strengthen this principle in daily life, practice small, deliberate acts of delay. Wait 5 minutes before eating when hunger strikes. Work for 25 minutes before taking a break. Save a portion of income before spending. These micro-delays condition your brain to understand that waiting is not loss. It is investment. The role of systems in self-control. Relying only on willpower is unsustainable. Systems make discipline automatic. For example, instead of deciding daily whether to work out, schedule workouts in your calendar. Instead of fighting the urge to overspend, automate savings so the decision is made before temptation arises. Instead of battling distractions, use focus blocks where access to interruptions is physically removed. Systems remove friction, making self-control easier and more consistent. Identity of self-mastery. The most powerful shift comes when you stop saying, "I am trying to control myself," and start saying, "I am a disciplined person. I honor long-term rewards over short-term impulse." Each time you act with self-control, you cast another vote for that identity. Over time, delayed gratification becomes natural because it reflects who you are. Long-term transformation through discipline. Think of what your life would look like if you practiced self-control every day for 1 year. The health built, the money saved, the habits mastered, the progress achieved. Now imagine that same discipline compounded over 5 years, 10 years, a lifetime. The small sacrifices of today become the extraordinary freedom of tomorrow. Closing thought for Chapter 6. Self-control is strength. Delayed gratification is wisdom. Together they form the foundation of long-term success. When you master your impulses, you master your future. Each moment of discipline plants a seed, and with time those seeds grow into the life you once dreamed of, now lived with clarity, purpose, and freedom. Chapter 7. Overcoming fear and self-doubt through thought control. Fear and self-doubt are the invisible chains that hold countless people back. They keep you from speaking up, from taking risks, from pursuing the life you truly want. These forces do not come from the outside world. They are born within the mind, and just as they are created through thought, they can be dissolved through thought. The purpose of this chapter is not to deny fear, but to understand it, master it, and move forward despite it. For fear will always appear where growth lives. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is simple. One allows fear to dictate their life. The other chooses thought control to rise above it. Understanding fear and self-doubt. Fear is the mind's natural response to the unknown. It whispers, "What if you fail? What if they reject you? What if you're not enough?" Self-doubt is fear turned inward, the belief that you are incapable, unworthy, or unprepared. These emotions are powerful because they feel real, but feelings are not facts. Fear is often a prediction of failure, not reality. Self-doubt is often an old story, not truth, and both can be rewritten. Think of the last time you worry endlessly about something that never happened. The mind projects danger, yet the event rarely arrives. In reality, fear often drains more energy than the challenge itself. By recognizing fear as an illusion, you weaken its grip. When you say, "This is only a thought, not truth," you reclaim power. Fear cannot control a mind that questions it. Practical exercise: naming the fear. The next time fear arises, do not push it away. Instead, write it down and give it a name. For example, fear of failing this project, or fear of speaking in public. By naming the fear, you separate it from your identity. You no longer say, "I am afraid, but I notice fear." This shift allows you to observe it rather than become it. Self-doubt, the voice of the inner critic. Self-doubt often originates from past experiences, moments when you were criticized, compared, or judged. Over time, those voices become internalized, repeating like an inner critic. But remember, The inner critic is not you, it is an echo of old beliefs. And just as a voice can be silenced, the critic can be replaced with a stronger, wiser voice of confidence. Challenge it with evidence. I've succeeded in the past. I have strength. I can grow. Replace it with a statement of power. I am capable and prepared. Each time you replace self-doubt with confidence, you rewire your thought pattern. Over time, the critic weakens and your empowered voice grows louder. Thought control redirects your focus. Instead of imagining failure, you visualize success. Instead of replaying criticism, you rehearse confidence. This is not pretending challenges don't exist. It is choosing the mental images that give you strength instead of paralysis. Practical exercise. The fear to focus shift. Identify a fear that holds you back. Write down the worst-case scenario you imagine. Then, write down the best-case scenario. Visualize it in detail. How you act, how you feel, how success looks. Each time fear returns, deliberately shift your focus to the best-case vision. This exercise teaches your brain to associate challenges with opportunity rather than disaster. Building courage through action. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite fear. The fastest way to shrink fear is through action. Each small step you take proves to your mind that the fear was larger in imagination than reality. Self-doubt cannot survive consistent evidence of your capability. Every time you act, you build proof. Proof builds belief, and belief replaces doubt. Share your opinion honestly. Try something new you've been postponing. Each act of micro-bravery strengthens the muscle of confidence. Over time, your tolerance for fear grows, and what once terrified you becomes natural. Identity shift. From fearful to fearless. Identity drives behavior. If you tell yourself, I am anxious, I am doubtful, you live into that story. If instead you declare, I am calm, I am courageous, I rise when challenged, your actions begin to reflect that new identity. Identity is built through repetition. Each time you act with courage, you prove to yourself that you are not defined by fear. You are defined by strength. Long-term freedom from fear. The truth is, fear will never fully disappear. Every new level of growth will trigger it again. But when you control your thoughts, you no longer need fear to disappear. You simply choose not to obey it. You learn to hear the voice of fear, but not follow it. You acknowledge doubt, but continue forward anyway. In this, fear becomes a signal for growth, not a barrier to it. Closing thought for Chapter 7. Fear is a teacher, not a master. Self-doubt is a shadow, not the truth. Through thought control you rise above both. Each time you choose courage over fear, belief over doubt, you step closer to the life you are capable of living. And as your thoughts grow stronger, so does your future. Chapter 8. Cultivating gratitude and positive thought patterns. The quality of your thoughts shapes the quality of your life. Up to this point, we've focused on controlling destructive patterns such as fear, self-doubt and distraction. Now it's time to go further beyond simply removing the negative and into planting the positive. Two of the most powerful practices for transforming thought are gratitude and deliberate positivity. Gratitude rewires your brain to focus on abundance rather than lack, while positive thought patterns allow you to direct your energy towards solutions, growth and opportunity. Together they build a mental environment where success, peace and fulfillment naturally flourish. Why gratitude changes everything. Gratitude is more than saying thank you. It is the habit of seeing the good in your life, big or small, and choosing to recognize it fully. When you practice gratitude, you shift your focus away from what is missing and toward what is already present. The brain cannot be fearful, resentful, or envious while truly immersed in gratitude. That is why gratitude is one of the most effective antidotes to negative thought spirals. People often wait until life feels perfect before they feel grateful. But gratitude works the opposite way. Life begins to feel richer, more abundant and more joyful because you first choose gratitude. Practical exercise. The daily gratitude ritual. Each morning or evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for. Be specific. Instead of I'm grateful for my family, write I'm grateful for the way my daughter laughed today. Reflect on how each item made you feel. Gratitude deepens when paired with emotion. Speak one of them out loud. I am grateful for the opportunities today has given me. Over time, this daily practice rewires your brain to naturally notice positives throughout the day, reducing stress and increasing resilience. Gratitude in difficult times. It is easy to feel grateful when things go well. The true test is whether you can practice gratitude when life challenges you. Gratitude during hardship does not mean denying pain. It means acknowledging that even within difficulty there are lessons, strengths or blessings to be found. For example, this setback is teaching me patience. I am grateful for the chance to grow stronger. Even now I have people who support me. When you look for meaning rather than misery, you reclaim your power. The power of positive thought patterns. Positive thinking is not about ignoring reality. It is about interpreting reality in a way that fuels action rather than paralysis. A negative thinker sees a challenge and says, "This is impossible." A positive thinker sees the same challenge and says, "This is difficult but solvable." Both statements come from thought. One leads to stagnation, the other sparks creativity and resilience. Positive thought patterns redirect your mental energy toward possibility. They don't deny the storm, they build the mindset to navigate it. Practical exercise, reframing negativity. Example, I'll never be successful at this. What else could this mean? What possibility am I not seeing? Replace it with a positive reframe. This will take time, but every step teaches me and moves me forward. The key is not blind optimism but constructive optimism, choosing thoughts that keep you moving forward. The science of repetition and thought control. Your brain is wired to strengthen whatever thoughts you repeat most often. If you consistently focus on gratitude and positivity, your mind begins to default to those states automatically. Think of your brain as a garden. Negative thoughts are weeds. Gratitude and positivity are seeds. Every time you repeat gratitude or a positive belief, you water those seeds. Over time, they grow stronger than the weeds. This is not a one-time event, but a daily cultivation. The more you feed gratitude and positivity, the more they become your natural way of thinking. Identity shaping through gratitude and positivity. Your thoughts don't just shape your mood, they shape your identity. If you constantly focus on problems, you begin to see yourself as a victim. If you consistently practice gratitude and positivity, you begin to see yourself as resourceful, capable, and blessed. Identity is destiny. When you identify as someone who finds meaning in challenges and sees the good in life, you build the confidence to pursue bigger goals with clarity and calm. Practical exercise. Gratitude anchors. Choose a physical object you interact with daily. A ring, a phone background, a bracelet, or even a sticky note on your desk. Each time you notice it, pause and think of one thing you are grateful for in that moment. This practice transforms gratitude into a reflex. Over time, your brain begins to connect ordinary moments with extraordinary appreciation. Gratitude keeps you grounded in what you already have, while positivity propels you toward what you can achieve. People who cultivate these thought patterns live with more peace, more confidence, and more resilience. They respond to challenges not with despair but with hope. They are not immune to difficulty, but they are immune to defeat, because their mind refuses to stay trapped in negativity. When you choose to be grateful, your world expands. When you choose positivity, your future brightens. And when these habits become your natural state, you step into a life defined not by fear or lack, but by abundance, strength, and possibility. Chapter 9: Creating Unstoppable Momentum Through Consistent Action and Thought Alignment. Success is rarely the result of one massive leap. It is built through momentum, small, consistent actions repeated over time, powered by aligned thoughts that keep you moving forward. Momentum is the invisible force that transforms discipline into progress, progress into confidence, and confidence into breakthrough results. In this chapter, we'll explore how to harness momentum by uniting your thoughts and actions into one direction. When your thinking supports your behavior, and your behavior reinforces your thinking, you create a cycle so strong that quitting no longer feels like an option. Think of a heavy train. When it first starts, it moves slowly, but once it builds speed, nothing can stop it. The same principle applies to life. Starting can feel difficult. Every new habit, every new project carries resistance, but with consistency your actions build speed, and soon momentum carries you forward with less effort than it took to begin. Many people fail not because they lack potential, but because they stop before momentum has a chance to build. By learning to control your thoughts and sustain consistent action, you prevent this cycle of starting and stopping. Instead, you compound progress until growth becomes automatic. Aligning thoughts with action. Action without thought alignment leads to burnout. Thought without action leads to frustration. True momentum requires both. For example, imagine someone trying to build a fitness habit. If their thoughts say, "I'll never keep this up," each action feels heavy. But if their thoughts align with action, "Every workout builds the stronger version of me," then each step reinforces identity, fueling consistency. Alignment means your internal narrative supports the external effort. When both move in the same direction, momentum accelerates. Practical exercise. The alignment check. Write down a current goal you're pursuing. Beside it, write the thoughts you most often have about this goal. Ask yourself, do these thoughts support my actions or do they weaken them? If they weaken, reframe them. Example, instead of "this is overwhelming," shift to "I will break it down step by step and grow stronger each day." By aligning thought with action, you reduce inner resistance and make consistency natural. Too often, people wait for big achievements to feel proud, but small victories, writing one page, making one call, practicing for 10 minutes, are what build the foundation for transformation. Each small win generates proof. I am capable. That proof strengthens belief, and strengthened belief fuels more action. This is the compounding cycle of momentum. Practical exercise. Daily wins journal. Each evening, write down 3 small actions you completed that moved you forward. It might be finishing a task, making progress on a project, or even resisting a negative thought. This trains your brain to notice progress instead of lack. Over time, you begin to see yourself as someone who always moves forward, no matter the pace. That identity fuels unstoppable momentum. Breaking through resistance. Momentum doesn't eliminate obstacles. It helps you push through them. Resistance will always appear. Fatigue, doubt, setbacks, or distractions. The key is to keep moving, even in small ways. When you act despite resistance, you train your brain to see action as non-negotiable. You no longer wait for perfect motivation. You build discipline that carries you forward even on hard days. Remember, action creates motivation, not the other way around. Each time you act, you generate energy that keeps you moving. Instead of running 5 kilometers, commit to putting on your running shoes. Identity and momentum. Your thoughts about who you are play the biggest role in sustaining momentum. If you think, "I am inconsistent, I always quit," then your actions will reflect that story. But if you begin to think, "I am a person who follows through, I am someone who moves forward every day," your identity begins to align with action. Momentum thrives when identity supports behavior. Each time you act consistently, no matter how small, you reinforce the identity of someone unstoppable. Practical exercise. The momentum mantra. Create a short statement that reinforces your identity. For example, "I am consistent and unstoppable. Every action I take builds my future. I follow through no matter what." Repeat this before beginning a task. Over time, your brain begins to associate action with empowerment, not struggle. Sustaining long-term momentum. Momentum is easier to sustain than to restart. That is why consistency, not intensity, is the true secret of long-term success. Anyone can push hard for a short burst, but the one who wins is the one who keeps going, even at a steady pace. To sustain momentum, focus on clarity of vision. Know why you're moving forward. Systems over willpower. Build routines that reduce decision fatigue. Regular reflection. Adjust your path, but never stop walking. When thought and action remain aligned, momentum becomes self-reinforcing. You no longer need constant effort to keep moving. Every aligned thought and every consistent action adds to your speed, until moving forward becomes effortless. With momentum on your side, you no longer question whether you will succeed. You simply trust the process and let your thoughts and actions carry you into the life you are building. Chapter 10. Living a fully transformed life through lifelong thought mastery. The journey of mastering your thoughts is not a short sprint, but a lifelong path. By now you have learned how to confront fear, discipline your focus, practice gratitude, build resilience, and align your thoughts with consistent action. Each chapter has shown you that your mind is not a cage, but a tool, one that when directed with intention, unlocks transformation at every level of life. This final chapter is not an ending, but a new beginning. It is an invitation to live as the master of your mind, not its prisoner, to walk through each day with the awareness that your thoughts are the foundation of your identity, your habits, your relationships, and your future. The nature of lifelong mastery. Mastery does not mean perfection. It does not mean you will never feel fear, anger, doubt, or negativity again. Lifelong thought mastery means that when those thoughts arise, as they inevitably will, you no longer let them define you or direct your path. A master of thought is not one who never falls, but one who always notices, resets, and rises again. Each moment is a chance to choose your thinking, and each choice strengthens the foundation of a life fully lived. Integration into daily life. The true test of thought mastery is not in quiet moments of reflection, but in daily life, in conversations, in challenges, in moments of uncertainty. It is in how you respond when stress is high, when things don't go as planned, or when others try to pull you into negativity. Everyday mastery means holding calm when others lose control, returning to your vision when distractions appear. These practices, repeated, turn mastery from concept into lifestyle. To live a transformed life, you must continuously set a vision that inspires you. Without vision, thoughts wander aimlessly. With vision, every thought finds purpose. When your mind is clear on where you are going, distractions lose power, challenges become stepping stones, and your thoughts serve your vision instead of sabotaging it. Take time regularly to refine your vision. Ask yourself, what life do I want to build? Who do I want to become? Then, let your daily thoughts align with that answer. Practical exercise. The vision alignment practice. Write your long-term vision in clear detail. Each morning, review it silently or aloud. Ask, what thoughts today will bring me closer to this vision? At night, reflect. Did my thoughts today serve or sabotage my vision? Rising above external influence. As you live with thought mastery, you will notice something remarkable. External circumstances lose their power over you. The economy, other people's opinions, temporary setbacks, these once dictated your emotional state. But when you master your thoughts, you discover that peace, focus, and resilience come from within. This is freedom, not freedom from difficulty, but freedom from being controlled by it. As you live with thought mastery, you naturally influence others. Your calm steadies them, your positivity uplifts them, your discipline inspires them. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to share the strength you've cultivated. Every challenge you face with grace becomes a silent lesson for those watching. By mastering your own thoughts, you empower others to believe in the possibility of mastering theirs. That is why lifelong mastery requires regular review. Set aside time weekly to ask yourself, where did I think with strength? Where did I let old patterns return? What can I adjust moving forward? This reflection keeps you humble enough to keep growing and wise enough to keep improving. The infinite journey of growth. There is no finish line in thought mastery, only levels. Each stage of your life will bring new challenges that test your mindset. But rather than fearing these tests, you will welcome them, because each test is a chance to prove your growth and rise to a higher level of mastery. A fully transformed life is not lived in comfort, but in courage, knowing that whatever comes, your thoughts will serve you, not sabotage you. Closing thought for Chapter 10. You now hold the power to control your thoughts and transform your life, not just once, but for a lifetime. Every moment is a new opportunity to choose clarity over chaos, resilience over weakness, gratitude over complaint, and vision over distraction. This is the essence of lifelong thought mastery, living as the creator of your inner world, so that your outer world naturally reflects strength, peace, and purpose. Your life is no longer left to chance. It is guided by the steady hand of your own mind. And as you walk forward with this mastery, you do not just transform yourself, you illuminate the path for others to do the same. And that brings us to the close of How to Control Your Thoughts and Transform Your Life, written and published by ReadFlow Audiobook. If this audiobook has inspired you, helped you shift your mindset, or given you the tools to create positive change, then I invite you to take one more step. Like this video if the message resonated with you. Subscribe to ReadFlow Audiobooks so you never miss more empowering content designed to fuel your growth and transform. And don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share this audiobook with a friend, a colleague, or anyone you know who could benefit from mastering their thoughts and unlocking their true potential. Remember, your journey doesn't stop here. Every day is another chance to choose powerful thoughts, take aligned action, and transform your life from the inside out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for growing with us. And as always, stay focused, stay strong, and keep creating the life you deserve.